Oh, we are here. We are live. It is Orange and Blue today. Cecil, Lammy, Andrew Mason, Denver Broncos. Day 7 of training camp. So we're a week in, and defense dominating today, Andrew Mason.
Defense dominating, and that player you see pictured announcing his presence with authority.
Wow.
In the parlance of Ebby Calvin Nuke Lelouch in Bull Durham. That's the best way to describe it, I think. Announcing his presence as a Bronco with authority. And I would say after an injury-plagued 2024, one which basically is the reason why he's no longer a 49er, why they moved on from him, I'd say he's announced that he's all the way back.
Oh, yeah. That leap he had on that interception.
Yes.
I'm not saying it was a 40-inch vertical, Mace, but it was a pretty good-sized vertical no matter how much it measured. But, yeah, defense dominates today. A little bit of a scrimmage action tomorrow, it sounds like. But let's talk about today. And back in pads, were you, I don't want to say surprised. Were you dismayed? Maybe the effort wasn't a little bit better. A lot of pre-snap penalties, taking away some good plays, including a Pat Bryant catch that was on Pat Surtain. So the rookie was able to get open against Surtain. Play came back. Didn't matter.
Yeah. I believe the penalty was on Pat Bryant.
It was. He
Yes.
lined up incorrectly.
He was lined up in the neutral zone, and he made a catch, and then it came back, and Sean Payton had... he wasn't yelling at Pat Bryant, but he was talking with Pat Bryant after that. Like, that's a rookie mistake. Now, that being said, most of the pre-snap penalties, a majority of them, a vast majority of them, they were on the second team. At one point, Sean Payton pulled the second team off the field and put the third team on. That's how bad it got. There were a couple of penalties, and then there was a bad snap, and then another penalty, and Sean Payton took the second team off and put the third team on. And then later in practice, the second team had 3 consecutive false starts. I mean, it didn't get better.
Yeah.
And then it ended with the second team offense and move the ball. And it was a tough move the ball situation because it was offense down 6, having to get a touchdown, 1 timeout, 1:48 on the clock. So odds are the defense is going to win that series anyway. But the second team offense only got 2 plays. Pat Bryant slipped as he ran a route. Ball got intercepted by Damari Mathis. Practice over, series over, boom. So that I do kind of want to be clear when we're talking about the penalties and the self-inflicted wounds. Most of them were the second team, not the first team. So if you're concerned, maybe you're concerned about the depth perhaps a little bit, the mental mistakes there.
A little sloppy, I would say. I'm not going to say I'm concerned, Mace, but I just figured after kind of a light day yesterday, man, you're going to be real sharp today. And the offense has been battling. I know our chat room right now is saying, well, the media is saying this and the media is saying that. Listen to Mace and I had a very good view of practice today. A lot of drills came right at me, which was good. Yeah. But I would say this. We've seen the offense, have a really good back and forth. Today, that wasn't necessarily the case.
I think this was also the defense just having an awesome day. This is one of those days where I think they were just locked in.
Yep.
And Sean Payton did allude to this after practice, that there are camps and there are years where one side is clearly above the other. Certainly he knows this from New Orleans when the reverse is true, when the offense has been well ahead of the defense. I mean, you'll go to his 14 through 16 seasons when the Saints went 7-9 3 years in a row, and their offense was terrific and they couldn't stop anybody. So he knows what it looks like when you have one side of the ball that is just eating the other for lunch day after day. And that's not what this is. He said, this camp has got more balance to it, that as I've written about and I've said elsewhere, this is punch and counterpunch. Now, usually we see the punch and counterpunch over the day in practice. Like, for example, a couple of days ago, you see a third down period, and third and short, the defense dominates, gets them 4 times in a row, the first team in ones versus ones, and then the next third down period, it's third and long, and the offense goes 2 for 4, which on third and long is really good. So that's more typical of what we've seen today. This was the rare day where one side of the ball dominated and kind of kept the foot on the gas, and the first team offense really couldn't get untracked. It's not to say that there weren't some moments in some plays. I mean, you mentioned there was that play for Pat Bryant where runs a nice route underneath Pat Surtain, gets the ball and moves the chains. Got to the, it's good field awareness, get to the sticks, get to the right spot in the route, good timing. Can't do it any better than that for that situation, that down and distance. But he's got to learn, you got to line up properly. Better to make that mistake and learn the lesson now than learn the lesson the hard way when it costs you something in September.
We were the first ones to talk about Bo Nix without an interception. Just as a note, right, as we keep you up to date on this.
Don't sprain your shoulder patting yourself on the back there, my friend.
Oh, no. Quite the opposite, in fact, because trust me, we get plenty of that usually from the other stations. But we had talked about it. Today it happened. We had told you it's going to happen. Don't be upset when it does happen. And the Hufanga play, Gage was talking about it in the chat room. The Hufanga play, I mean, just leaps and bounds showing, as you mentioned to open the show, like he is back.
Absolutely. And there are signs before this. It's just when you're a safety, well, first of all, it's one of those positions where you're not going to see everything until pads go on because there's a certain physicality obviously involved with that position. So the first couple of days, you're not going to see all of it. Second of all, you're kind of waiting for that moment. With the safety, it's going to kind of be that explosive play. It's going to be a hit. It's going to be reading a screenplay. It's going to a screenplay developing. It's going to be coming up and attacking. So it's like waiting for a bomb to go off. Almost. And especially with a player like Hufanga, his success equation involves basically the bomb going off. That's what the Broncos brought him there for. I mean, Sean Payton calls him a first responder. In other words, his game is attacking. His game is initiating. His game is getting there first, not cleaning up, not being the second guy in. He's the one that's attacking. So success is going to look like that. It's going to seem like he came out of nowhere to make the play. And there it was. And there are going to be quarterbacks, the Broncos hope, who are going to be sitting there furrowing their brows after a takeaway or after a pass defense that gets their offense off the field, wondering where in the heck did he come from? But those were the types of plays he made prior to tearing the ACL. Those are what put him, before that injury, into the Defensive Player of the Year discussion. I mean, that's how well he was playing in year 3 of his career before the injury changed his trajectory. I mean, that ACL injury derailed, frankly, what looked to be like a career that potentially had him as a career 49er and maybe even had him on track to be their best safety since Ronnie Lott. I mean, that's pretty high praise, but it's the trajectory he was beginning to approach until the ACL injury.
And that's why people compared him to Troy Polamalu. It wasn't just the hair.
Yeah. And then he got back and he was injured last year. So not only was he was struggling to get back from the ACL, but then he got injured again and it compounded things for him. And make no mistake, he's here because of the injuries. That's the 49ers didn't bring him back because of the risk involved. If he had stayed healthy, they would have found a way to keep him. They would not have let him out of the building. Even if they'd had to tag him, they would not have let him leave their building. But he's here now, and the Broncos may be ready to reap the rewards, because that moment today when I saw him, it was the flash, it was the moment. It was like, that's the guy. That's the guy up through the middle of the 2023 season. That's him. That is the player that looked like he was on that arc to be, like I said, the best 49er safety since Lott. I'm not saying as good as Lott. I'm saying the best for them since then. And this morning, when he read that play perfectly, zoomed out of nowhere, leapt, and got the ball, we saw that flash. And if that's the guy the Broncos have, that's the final piece of the puzzle to make this defense elite. That's what was missing. And now you've got a playmaker on the interior defensive line. You have playmakers on the edge. Dre Greenlaw gives you a playmaker at inside linebacker, DPOY at corner, and a playmaker at safety. Tell me what other NFL D has that many transformative playmakers and has them at all 5 position groups. Tell me.
Nobody.
Exactly.
Hufanga INT gets the ultimate compliment on this show because it was just that. Not the only INT, although the one that Surtain got
flag. There was
a flag on the play.
Yeah, and it was illegal contact. So
yeah, people were saying that was the second pick. That doesn't count.
I'm not even. Yeah, it was a penalty. Like it wouldn't have been a pick in a game. Why are we? So yeah, there were. I mean, and you can't even say 3 picks because like there was a pick on a Hail Mary and it was at half speed. I mean,
yeah.
Bo Nix had 1 interception today. Not 2, not 3, 1. Okay.
Yeah. The Surtain one, he threw it to Sutton. Sutton wasn't even really turned around. He's just throwing it up to let him go get it.
Yeah.
And then what was it? Brandon Jones got the other one in like the half speed
Hail Mary. And it's a Hail Mary. Even
yeah.
if it was full speed, it's a Hail Mary. Who cares?
Yeah.
What do we I think like are people making a deal out of that?
Well,
are they? I mean, look, here's the thing.
Do you remember when Sutton was holding in and people were making a big deal and you and I were saying don't?
Because here's what happens. Like for me after practice, I cover the press conferences. I was there for Sean Payton, and I was there for Jaleel McLaughlin, and I was there for Malcolm Roach. And then I go and I record my I look at my notes and I go through my notes, compile them, just go through. I say, oh, this how many penalties there were, blah, blah, blah. And I go and I record my stand-up. Then I go home and I start editing my stand-up. I throw some clips in. I start working on my notebook, and I start doing stuff for this show. And then I get that up. I get the JPEGs done for the show. I get a couple of clips ready. We have a Jaleel soundbite. We have a Sean Payton soundbite ready to go. And then I sit down with you. So I have not consumed any of the chatter. Like you cease are informing me of the chatter because I have blinders on. I have no clue what people are saying out there. I don't know.
That's the best way to be, honestly, because then we're just giving you our honest opinion. You and I were not concerned about the Sutton thing.
Yeah.
Nobody should have been. It was made a big deal. I are not concerned by the Knicks interception.
Yeah. I'm like, flag. Okay, it doesn't count. Like it's a dead play, and Yeah, it was illegal, like illegal contact.
Right.
They, in a manner of speaking, they cheated.
Since what did Sean Payton talked about afterwards? What the Houston play, right? The Kroll interception with Russ. He actually brought up Russ.
He said the name. He said his name.
I know.
He said Russell.
Can we just eliminate that play? That play does not work. And there's a blind zone, a blind spot. Maybe when it does, you actually saw it work, Mase. We'll pull back the curtain because you saw it the week of the Texans game. They did it in practice. It worked to Sutton. And then against the Texans with Sutton, kind of cluttered up there. And it went to Kroll. And I believe that was Kroll's like first, second game, whatever. And it was way too high. And it's just that play didn't work. They tried it again today. The play doesn't work.
I think it's time to retire it.
Yeah. I think so. But you did see it work. You've seen it work in practice.
Well, I mean, we saw it work on air because we don't see offense versus defense that week. We just saw it work on air.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the whole thing of it then was like, with all due respect to Lucas Kroll, he was playing like his first or second game, like his first, second, or third game or something like that.
Yeah, it was early.
You're a play that arguably turned the season, perhaps, because I mean that was the end of the win streak, right? At that moment.
Yep.
And you decide to. I mean, we all like Lucas Kroll personally. I mean, certainly 2024 offseason standout.
He'll always have that, right?
Always have. We should give him a plaque for that.
We should.
Yeah.
I'll give him one of my Kroll comic books.
Cecil Lammy's off-season MVP 2024.
Well, so then we have to do an annual, like the Lucas Kroll Award goes to.
Well, this year would be what it would be Dondrea Tillman or Q Robinson, right?
Probably Q, I would say Q because he was so consistent.
I'd say they're co. I'd say they're co. But maybe Q because it was a little less expected. Like with Dondrea, we kind of knew,
right? Because
we'd seen it, and maybe with Q we were not expecting it. So maybe Q is like the guy, off-season MVP. By the way, his injury is not serious. Sean Payton said I think it's a bone bruise. He wasn't out there, so
okay, that's nice.
That was a pretty big brace that he had on his knee, though.
Yeah, for a bone bruise, that's a pretty large fitting.
I mean, if he's wearing that brace, if he goes back out there, and he's also got the brace on his elbow because of the surgery he had last year, I mean, he's like, it's like the $6 million man or something like that.
We can rebuild him.
There's an old reference there, man.
I did
another one that's relevant to fewer and fewer people with each passing year.
Very much so. I did a Mallrats reference. That kid is back on the escalator. So
gotta fear and respect the escalator.
Exactly.
Let's hear Sean Payton, by the way, talk about Talanoa Hufanga and the play and just how he's looking right now.
The interception was an RPO, and if you really looked at his distance from the throw, I'll bet it was like 8 yards. And so to be able to go up and catch that with a crowded look in front of him, it was. I'm anxious to see it on film. I saw it from behind the line of scrimmage. The one thing over the years, if I asked you to give us the best safeties that are in the Hall of Fame, the traits are always instincts and football smarts. Some are faster than others, but it's hard to be real effective at that position if you don't have those high football instincts, and certainly he brings that. And we made a comment in the offseason, there's certain players the ball finds them, and he's one of those guys. So that play was sick.
Was sick. I didn't think he'd describe a play as sick. I did not have that one on my bingo card for Sean Paytonisms at a press conference.
Not at all. Sick brag, bro.
Woo.
Okay.
Sick burn, bro.
Well, you're just trying to find a way to describe it, and yeah. Sick.
Not bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. pretty damn special, man. Pretty special player. And the description of that play is so perfect because it lets you know, like, the come from nowhere thing. It's just, you don't expect a player to be able to make that play. So it's not Bo, like, Bo's messing up. It's just, he made this outstanding flipping play, leaping. And so a lot of quarterbacks, you can sneak that by other safeties.
Well, that's also a hallmark a lot of Hufanga's best plays with the 49ers when you watch him. If you've gone back and watched the tape of him with the 49ers, the plays that really made his reputation, a lot of them fit the description of where did he come from? That's what you're left asking. It's like, if you're watching on the TV copy, sometimes he's off the screen almost. It's like, where? Like you'll see a screen pass developing, and then there's this, this golden helmeted streak attacking, and that's him. Mm-hmm. And just blows it up. That's the special kind of ability that I'd say the last Broncos safety who really had that. I mean, Justin Simmons, terrific safety, but that was not his strong point. That wasn't what he did best. His best thing was his superpower was range, center field.
He's a center fielder.
Tracking down. Like if you went deep, he could track it. Like he could track it and jump it and make a play on the ball.
Put me in, coach.
The way the guy I think back to is David Bruton. Now, Dr. David Bruton, by the way.
Fantastic. And
his superpower was being able to read screen passes as they developed. And remember, he had remarkable straight line speed. And so he'd see the screens as they develop and just beeline for them and attack them. That was his thing. Hufanga has that, but he's got so many other clubs in his bag. But all of them involve that closing speed to come basically from out of nowhere and blow up a play. He's got the instincts to attack pretty much anywhere and the speed to take advantage of those instincts. So now that he's another year removed from that ACL, the speed has come back to where it was before. So this Hufanga the Broncos have now, that play, it looked like the guy that was so dominant. This is actually, I actually say this is the first moment I saw him. I've seen him since the injury where I said, okay, he's back. Didn't look back last year. This is the moment where I said, okay, he's back. And the fact that you can say that and now he's here is, and if you're George Payton sitting up and watching that, you have to have a huge grin on your face right now. It's like, yep. It was a dice roll. All these free agents were dice rolls because of the health. And okay, it may not all come out okay. I mean, especially, they're not too worried about Dre Greenlaw, but he missed off-season work.
I don't share their same optimism, and it's not because I'm pessimistic. It's because when that, and again, the initial report seemingly could be wrong. Reports are wrong, whatever. But it's like anything that happens to Dre, like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I'm like,
It's the fact that he missed time in the offseason as well.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, look for patterns, right? I'm probably a broken record saying that. Well, he had an injury in the offseason, and now he's dealing with something here. And look, I was probably about 10, 12 yards from him when he pulled up. I was right there watching the drill. And we know he had, and we know he had the strain back in April. I'm a trust but verify guy, and I've got to see him stay healthy before I'm feeling good right now about that. So again, you had Hufanga and you had Greenlaw and you had J.K. Dobbins and Evan Engram. Engram has actually the least injury concern because he did miss 8 games last year, but his previous 3 seasons, I believe he missed 3 games in total. So he doesn't have that tag on him. He'd gotten past that in recent years.
He's in a different bucket.
Yeah.
If you go to the Sean Payton buckets, it's like
Yes.
injury history. Ingram's not in that one. He's in the coming off of injury.
He's coming off of injury, but he's not in the injury history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Greenlaw's an injury history. Hufanga's an injury history. And J.K. Dobbins is certainly an injury history. And I don't think it's reasonable to expect them to bat 1,000 here.
No, if they got, of the 3 big guys, if they got
They're 2 out of 3. If they go 667, I think you're probably feeling pretty good.
You should.
But the problem is that one that you miss, how costly is that? Okay, is that guy replaceable? Can you live without that player? Whoever that is. We'll see. As Gary Kubiak would say, we're fixing to find out.
We are fixing to play a word from our sponsor before we hear from Jaleel McLaughlin. Let's go ahead and hear from RamosLaw.com.
Today's episode of Orange and Blue Today is presented by Ramos Law, the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Ramos Law was founded by Dr. Joseph Ramos, an attorney and ER doctor, to provide exceptional care to those injured in accidents. With a unique understanding of both medicine and law, the Ramos Law team is built to fight for you every step of the way. Experience the Ramos Law difference. Contact them today at RamosLaw.com.
By the way, my mom compliments you on that read. She thinks you did a very good job on that.
Thank you,
Yes.
Mama Mace.
Yeah.
Appreciate you for that.
So
She's a big sports fan.
Yeah, she's always watching this. But
Nice.
she is a big sports fan. You're right.
Nice. Fantastic.
Sometimes she'll be like, oh, yeah. She'll tell me like that, oh, yeah, Sean Payton or Bo Nix or whoever was on NFL Network or ESPN or whatever. Like, again, I've got the tunnel vision on this.
You're in the cocoon. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, well, really? They were on? Okay. Yeah. Oh, all right. And maybe I'm aware because they were on site, but I have no clue, like, what was said.
I have the, I don't know, blessing of being around others saying stuff that I vehemently disagree with. So it's good to have the show where we can tell the truth. And you get to talk to Jaleel McLaughlin today.
Yeah.
Now, out there as a receiver, McLaughlin doing some good things. I've heard Sean Payton talk about him, I believe, yesterday or whatever.
The big thing that he's working on is the pass game, both pass pro and pass receiver as well. I mean, I'll say this: to me, his route running's come a long way, and as you and I both saw yesterday, everything good except the actual catch when it was just outstretched. He couldn't bring it in,
right?
But the route was top shelf. That's not a route he was running the little stutter go. That's not a route he was doing very well last year or the year before.
No, not at all. That, dare I say, it was Blake Watson-esque. But this is what Jaleel McLaughlin, the guy that's going to make the team, and the ground game could not get anything going. If we ask why the offense struggle so much, the ground game, the defensive line just dominated. The ground game could not get anything going. But as receivers, Jaleel McLaughlin, RJ Harvey getting the first carry, by the way, for RJ Harvey. First day, he gets the first carry.
Interesting.
Just something to note. But Jaleel coming a long way, and I'm glad you note his route running, Mace, because that's what he had to work on. And, of course, Jaleel's going to work on it.
Yeah, he's going to work on it. He's going to put in the work. He's still that first guy in the building, even though Evan Engram's pushing him. I mean, Engram is saying, like, he wants to be the first guy in the building, but Jaleel keeps beating him in.
Okay.
It says a lot, though, that Engram's got that same trait to him.
Yeah, he's a veteran, like first-round pick.
Yeah. But, I mean, those are the guys that endear themselves to the coaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ones that keep working. But, so the thing we know about Jaleel is that he's always going to find something to focus on coming out of the year. So last year, it was pass pro that he worked on. So I asked him, okay, what was your point of emphasis this off season? And he said he felt he needed to get stronger. So to that end, he added 12 pounds. We often talk about him being 187, right? He added some weight. That's his listed weight, 187. He's now at 199. So not RJ Harvey size. He's, RJ is like 208 on that, on that 5'8" frame. But Jaleel now, 5'8", 199. So that led to me following up and asking him what I think is a pretty obvious question. You're 12 pounds heavier. Do you feel like that's affecting your speed in any way? Here's Jaleel answering that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel like I got faster. I feel like I got stronger. I feel like I'm able to make those cuts, and it's more efficient, and it's like a stronger cut, and it's more explosive. So, yeah, I feel great.
You know what's interesting is actually you see him up there, and I was thinking about this. You can see the added muscle even in his arms.
It's right there.
Like he's thick, like he's even thicker there. Like there's a little more in the guns.
Yeah.
When he's standing there.
Chest, shoulders,
yes.
trap, and he was always, this is probably the right word. He was slight.
Yeah.
You and I've been around him in the locker room plenty of times. Like he's a small person, but right there, you just see that, Mase. Somebody's been working out.
Yeah. And he's right. His speed is not off. He still has every ounce of speed that he always has. Hasn't affected him at all. And he says he feels faster. So
9 pounds, you said? 9?
12.
12.
Or 199. Or he's 12 pounds above his listed weight. So his listed weight is 187, so he's at 199. So I don't know. I should say I don't know how many he added from last year, but he is 12 pounds above the roster listed weight that he has.
That is a significant amount to maintain that speed.
Yes.
Great.
Yes. So he's at 199 now. That's significant in terms of body type.
He's not Clinton Portis, but Clinton Portis was 195. And at the end of his rookie season, he said he was 185 because he just lost so much weight, getting 1,500 yards.
Well, that's another thing as well. He reports at 199. Guys go through camp and the season, and they sometimes struggle to maintain their weight because they're working so much, and it's so strenuous out there. You're losing some weight, even though they're getting in the weight room. Some guys like to lift before practice. Some guys like to lift after practice. I chatted with Trent Sherfield on Thursday. He mentioned to Anilo Piro and myself, he's a lift after practice guy, because if he lifts before practice, he feels like his legs wouldn't be quite as strong for when he feels like they need to be strongest when he's out there running in practice. So he's a lift post practice guy. Some guys like to get that lift done in the morning. He's a lift after practice guy. So it's different strokes for different folks.
Interview comes out tonight,
yes.
9 p.m. Mountain, right here, Denver Sports YouTube channel. It is scheduled. I saw it before we jumped in here, Mase.
Okay, yes. So pretty good conversation. He talks a lot about
Pat Bryant stuff.
Yeah, he's basically Pat Bryant's mentor at this point. And
Illinois guys, right?
Yes. Pat Bryant, of course, Champaign, and Trent Sherfield's from down the road in Danville. So both, East Central Illinois guys, both of them. I believe that's I-74, if I'm not mistaken. I think so. I should know. I've been on it, because one of the ways to get from Madison to Indianapolis, because of course that's part of the year when I'm in Madison and I drive there for the combine. That's the thing. Now because it's part of the year when I'm in Wisconsin, the combine is a drive for me. So I drive down to Indianapolis, and if I don't go through Chicago, I go the way down, like I go down basically through Illinois, which, by the way, all due respect to people who live in Central Illinois who are watching this show, that is an incredibly boring drive. It's flat.
It's like Western Kansas.
Yeah, it's just like, well, I mean, there's a few more settlements along the way. I mean, it's not like you pass by some towns and all that, but it is flat as a pancake, is Central Illinois.
Edward says yes, I-74.
Thank you, Edward. Yes, I was right. Okay. So, yeah, you go down, it's like I-59, then you get off at Bloomington Normal, where Illinois State is, and then you go I-74 on into Indianapolis. Yeah, go past Champaign, past Danville. I want to say, is Dick Van Dyke from Danville, Illinois?
Wow. Okay.
Hang on.
Do a little Google machine, a little AI machine.
Hang on.
No.
Yes. Danville, Illinois.
How did you pull that?
Dick Van Dyke and Jerry Van Dyke. Jerry Van Dyke, who, of course, played Luther Van Dam on Coach. They are from Danville, Illinois, Danville High School. Now, Dick Van Dyke was born in West Plains, Missouri.
Please tell me there's a sign outside the town that says, like, boyhood home of Dick Van Dyke.
I mean, I hope so. I don't know. I'm on the Wikipedia page right now. Let's see, like on the Wikipedia page, notable people. Okay. Here's an article. Notable people, list of people from Danville, Illinois. Okay. So there is Jerry Van Dyke and Dick Van Dyke. Sports. Oh, come on. Trent Sherfield's not on here. Jim Marshall, not the football Jim Marshall, but former baseball manager and second baseman's on here. Robin Yount, Hall of Fame center fielder, was born in Danville, Illinois. Zeke Bratkowski, former backup quarterback, longtime quarterback coach, is on here. Wikipedia, you got to get Trent Sherfield on here. He's in his 8th NFL season. The pride of Danville, Illinois. Come on. Got to get that on here.
Tisk.
Yeah.
Wikipedia.
Nah, man. Yeah, Trent's very proud of being from Danville as well. I can tell you that.
Good.
Nice, very nice guy. Very, very much worth rooting for. One of many players on this team worth rooting for. So
no clowns, as Bo Nix says, and no clowns allowed. That's for sure. Sherfield interview coming up tonight, 9 p.m. Any final thoughts on tomorrow's scrimmage, like practice, Mase, before we wrap up?
Hope to see the offense rebound a bit. Again, this has been the punch, counter, punch camp. So I expect we'll see the offense do better today. I think the other thing, this was a day where we saw move the ball and we saw some 2-minute, and thus you were maybe hoping for a little bit more out of the offense. And so I think that part was probably a little bit disappointing, but there's always Saturday. There's always another practice. But I also think that this defense is just that good. Vance Joseph, man, he has got some weapons at his disposal. I have to ask you this, Cease. If this, I'm going to ask you, just going to give you a number here, okay, or ask you to give me a number.
Okay.
If the Broncos are below blank in total defense, they've underachieved.
3.
Wow. I was going to say 5 or 6.
5, but it's like they are
3.
really,
Holy
they are
smokes.
really damn good. 5 almost seems too low.
I mean,
with that sort of question.
I only said 5 or 6 because that accounts for some garbage time data, which is why you maybe, go for stuff like DVOA and that sort of thing. But man, 3. Okay.
I mean, I see them as a top 5 unit right now. If they're not best in the league,
Okay. So like if they're like 7th in total defense, What are you thinking about Vance Joseph?
The internal pressure will be to see what potentially Jim Leonard could do.
Okay.
That's what I'll be thinking.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I'll say like about Jim is like as good an assistant coach as he is, the thing that he does best, I can say this from watching him at Wisconsin, is call a defense in game. Like, he's a good assistant coach, but he's not doing right now he's not doing the thing that I think is his gift.
And they're not going to be able to keep him
Yeah,
unless BJ gets the promotion to a head coaching job somewhere.
I think he's calling a defense for somebody in 2026. I don't know who, but he's calling somebody's defense somewhere in 26. I don't think they can stop. I don't think they can hold him back from that.
Yep.
I mean, they gave him the assistant head coach title this year, and I'd say Jim Leonard, Davis Webb, those two. I mean, this may be the last year for Davis Webb on the staff. I don't know that they can keep him after this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nowhere for him to go because he's not going to call the plays here because Sean Payton has that responsibility. At least with Jim Leonard, if Vance Joseph moves on, gets a head coaching job, at least with Jim, there's a potential for him to be calling plays here on the defense. That doesn't exist for Davis Webb here. I mean, that is actually something, you know, it's part of the reality of things. And, you know, of course, that's why Sean Payton on Thursday, he was sort of talking about, you know, I don't think he was prepared to lose Declan Doyle, for example, to Chicago. Because I think maybe part of his plan was for Declan to move up and assume a bigger role step by step. And then the Bears kind of poached him to be their non-play calling OC, but an OC nonetheless. And I think that may have changed his long-term progression for his staff a little bit.
It should.
Yeah. I think, but, you know, he was able to get Pete Carmichael from New Orleans. That helped. I mean, but he lost Johnny Morton to, you know, the Lions. So there's been some adjustment. But but as he always says, it's a good problem to have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's the problem you want, where your staff is so good it gets plucked.
Yeah. But the Leonard thing is interesting because and I know it's the college level, but he is watching him in game and like the way you'll see something in the first quarter and then there's he sets up a call in the fourth quarter with a look in the first quarter. That's something he does exceptionally well. Better than most defensive play callers. And that's why if he gets the chance here, I really look forward to it. I think it'd be a lot of fun to watch him here, but you know, we'll see.
We shall see. And a Saturday practice means
Saturday
show. AP, who we love, Anilo is fantastic. Like he's one of us, Mace,
yes.
and
he's a grinder.
Great hire for us.
That's the best thing I can say about Anilo. Like he is
young cat.
The best compliment I can pay is that he's a grinder.
Yeah. So he asked me the other day, he's like, "You gonna be here Saturday?" I just laughed. I was like, "What's my name? Come on."
Of course we're here Saturday. There's a practice.
Of course.
There was a practice on Sunday. We'd be there on a Sunday.
Minus the
I'm going to be at Rockies Pirates on Sunday. I mean, are you kidding?
Oh, there you go.
I work 7 days a week.
And away we go. That's right. Mace, before we're out of here to get a little bit of a break before our Saturday show, tell folks how they can help us out on YouTube.
Like,
comment,
share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell
so that you
never
miss
vid.
That's right. He's Andrew Mason. You follow him on all the socials at Mace Denver. I'm at Cecil Lammy saying OBT's a BFD. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and would you please stay frosty?